Hallelujah. May God help us to trust Him. Hallelujah. May God really help us to trust Him. Saints, let's take our seats anyway. May God help us to trust. I do not know, but I do know that we're in the situation of that man that came to Jesus, and Jesus said to him, "If only you can believe, all things are possible to the one that believes." That is in Mark chapter number 9, verse 23. Now in verse number 24, the man responded to Jesus and said, "I believe, help me to overcome my unbelief." Hallelujah.
Amen.
I believe, help me to overcome my unbelief.
I pray that God may help me as well to overcome my unbelief. If we have overcome that one,
well, congratulations. Hallelujah. Because once we fully trust God, saints, there is nothing that we cannot be able to do. Are you with me?
Amen.
Yeah. Once we fully trust God, when God says go somewhere, you won't even think about it, you will just go. Why? Because you trust God. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Anyway, let's go to the Word of God.
perhaps before I get there, let me just say, Brother Turana said something here that it won't help us to accomplish or succeed as the Word does. Are you with me? Which is basically accomplishing everything that they want to accomplish or they desire or they want, but at the end neglecting their godly purpose. Are you with me? I've seen so many people being successful in doing other things, but failing in their godly appointments. Are you with me? Yes, and Tulana said that that is not success according to God. And it's true. That's failure. That is why Jesus said, how will it benefit one to gain the whole world, then at the end lose his life? Which means that you would have been successful in doing all other things, but failed at the most important part. That is why when I started speaking about the issue of blessings, that the greatest blessing is the one of having your sins not imputed unto you. Are you with me? That is the greatest of them all. The one of having your sins not imputed unto you. Can you guys please throw your microphones, put them away so that I cannot step on them. Thank you. Now, we are talking about the issue of real keys to God's blessings. Do we have people who believe here that God is always right? Do you believe? God is always right. Please say after me.
God is always right.
And He never makes mistakes.
And He never makes mistakes.
and may we trust Him.
May we trust Him.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Yes, saints, we need just to pray daily that may we trust God. Because we are not doing what God has called us to do simply because we do not trust God. Perhaps we are doing 5% of what we ought to be doing simply because we have got so much doubt in us. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Yeah, you know, if there's anything that I'm scared of, guys, is getting in heaven and then be told that you just did 2% of what you should have done. You could have accomplished so much for the kingdom of God. Hallelujah.
Amen.
And we are going there. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Are you guys going there?
Okay.
You didn't respond. Hey, these people. Hey, are we going there?
Amen.
Thank you. That's better. Hey. Hey. Don't be ashamed. Hallelujah. Yeah, but Jesus said that if you are ashamed of Him here, He's going to be ashamed of us. Don't be ashamed of heaven. The word of God says we are ambassadors who are representing heaven here on earth. So let's live like ambassadors. Now let's go to Ecclesiastes 5 verse 1. I think that was the third last verse that we read from last week. Real keys to God's blessings. Ecclesiastes 5:1. Those that have got microphones next to them, we are preaching together. The part that you are doing is reading the word. Hallelujah. I'm doing the talking, so please help me.
Be careful about going to the temple. Be careful about going to the temple.
Jesus Christ, you need glasses. Somebody who can see without glasses.
Be careful about going to the temple. It is better to go there to learn than to offer sacrifices as foolish people do. People who don't know right from wrong.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Somebody else? Ecclesiastes 5:1. I that one close it, sister.
Verse 1. Guard your steps when you go to the house of God. Go near to listen rather than to offer the sacrifice of fools who do not know that they do wrong.
Hallelujah. Last week, as I was talking under the blessings through giving, I touched on this issue that God is not happy when we present or bring an offering unto Him while we ourselves are not an acceptable offering unto Him. Are you with me? God is not pleased that be it that I'm bringing my offering, should it be tithe, should it be that I'm giving somebody, when I remember Romans 12 verse 1, I beseech you, brethren, that you offer your bodies. Let's read that one. Romans 12:1. Romans 12:1. Quickly. Romans 12:1. Withholding nothing, I surrender now to you. Everything I give to you. Withholding nothing. I surrender.
sisters, because of God's great mercy to us, I appeal to you, offer yourselves as a living sacrifice to God, dedicated to His service and pleasing to Him. This is the true worship that you should offer.
Hallelujah. That was Romans 12:1. The good news says that you must be a dedicated kind of offering unto God. Not only that, but one that is also pleasing unto Him. When the Word of God speaks about the issue of Cain and Abel bringing an offering unto God, it says that God was not pleased with Cain's offering. Are you with me? Here in Romans 12, the Word of God says that we must offer ourselves unto God as offerings that are pleasing unto Him. Now, last week or in the past weeks, I said that whenever we are bringing an offering before God, for us to receive the reward that is due unto us, the offering that we are bringing unto God must meet God's standard for an acceptable offering. Are you with me? Now, in Ecclesiastes 5, it says that God is not pleased with people that go to His house to offer the sacrifice of fools. Now, what kind of a sacrifice fits the definition of fools? The Word of God says, these people do not consider what they do. Mine says they do not consider that they do evil. In other words, they just offer. They do not care about themselves. Whereas God, before He can accept anything from you, He must accept you first. Am I speaking to somebody?
Amen.
Now we're talking about real keys to God's blessings. God is not going to bless you just because you are giving. Are you with me? For you to receive the blessing of giving, ensure that you conform to the standards of an acceptable offering. The Word of God in Romans 12 says, we must be pleasing. Somebody with a different version from Londy's version, Romans 12:1.
Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship.
You hear that? This is your true and proper worship. What is it? That you offer your bodies as a living. Why is that our bodies must be a living sacrifice these days? Because it is different from the ancient way of offering. When people were bringing offering to the altar of God before, that is in the Old Testament, they would slaughter that animal. They will not bring it alive. But in this case, it's different. The offering that we are bringing, or the sacrifice that we are bringing in the altar, it's ourselves. Therefore, it must be a living sacrifice. You cannot offer unto God once you are dead. Are you with me? Now the Word of God says it must be a living one and a holy sacrifice. That one said dedicated unto God. Holy means that it is set apart or separated for God's use or for God's purpose. Now, for us to be acceptable before God, we must be set apart. Are you with me?
Amen.
God is not pleased with the sacrifice of fools. Do not be like them. They do not consider what they do. They just offer to God. Just like him. He offered. And God said, when He speaks in Genesis 4, I think verse number 7, He said unto Cain, don't you know that if you do well, you shall be acceptable before God? Are you with me? If you do well, which means that even your offering, if you do well, it is going to be acceptable before God. Now, us as ministers today,
when we are led by the spirit of greed, we no longer care whether the offering is acceptable before God or not. The only thing that we want to see is people bringing money before God. Are you with me? It's people bringing money to the church. That is why then you will never hear people talking about the fact that before you bring an offering, be an acceptable kind of offering. Do we have a version that says acceptable here? What is the name of your version, sister? NIV? Jesus Christ. Anyone with a different one? Brother Otto, please, somebody give him a microphone. There is a cutlass there. Thank you. Acceptable, that one, I hope.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies in a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is a reasonable service.
Hallelujah. Holy and acceptable to God. Now, there is nothing that can please God if it is not acceptable to Him. Are you with me? Anything that pleases God, that thing must be acceptable before God's eyes. Let's continue now. Galatians 6, verse number 7. May we be offerings ourselves that are acceptable before God. Are you with me? Before we offer all kinds of offerings, may we be offerings that are acceptable before God. May we be. Before I come and minister and preaching, may I be a sacrifice, an offering. The word of God says that we are a sweet smelling sacrifice. We are a sweet smelling sacrifice. That is Ephesians 5. It says we are a sweet smelling sacrifice. Sweet smelling aroma before God. God, when He spoke to Samuel in 1 Samuel chapter number 15, the word of the Lord said that the Lord said, what is the noise that I am hearing, Samuel? What is the noise that I am hearing? What was this kind of noise that God was hearing? A noise of disobedience. Are you with me? In other words, it was not a sweet sound that God expected from someone that ought to be carrying God's mission. May God be pleased with the offering. When He looks at you, He smiles. Why? Because you are a sweet aroma. That is Ephesians 5, verse number 2, if I'm right. Anyway, we're going to Galatians 6, 7. Please, if you are there, read.
Do not deceive yourselves. No one makes a fool of God. People will reap exactly what they sow.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Do not deceive yourselves. People will reap exactly what they sow. Are you with me? People will reap exactly what they sow. Last Sunday, I went as far as saying that you cannot bribe your way through God's blessings. Are you with me? There is no blessing you are going to get from God if you are going to come and give a sacrifice unto God. Whilst yourself, you are not an acceptable sacrifice. Are you with me? That is why the word of God in Deuteronomy 28, verse 1 and 2, the word of God says that if you hearken unto the word of the Lord, unto the voice of God, if you listen unto it and obey it, then these blessings will come over you. Are you with me? The coming of the blessings is dependent upon. The reward of offering is dependent upon what? The offering meeting an acceptable standard. Are you with me? For an offering before God. What does Ecclesiastes 5 says? Do not offer the sacrifice of fools. They do not consider what they do. They just think because now it's said, give and you shall be blessed. Because you are giving, therefore you are going to receive the blessing. No, you can't do that. It doesn't work that way. Am I speaking to somebody? Let's go to Malachi, chapter number 1, verse number 6 to 14.